Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I'm your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Coralyn, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl. Welcome to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. And I'm really excited today to really share this topic with you all. We've been getting some really good feedback. So thank you all for that. Our listeners, you've been letting us know what you like and how this podcast has been impacting you. So leadlikeagirllab.com. That's how you find us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it so that we can get exposure to many other people who find value in the things that we're talking about. So, one of the big things here is that we're empowering everyday women, whether you're in leadership or whether you're an at home mom or whatever it is, everyday women through our storytelling. And with that comes a responsibility for the three of us to be transparent, to be vulnerable, and to share our stories. And I love doing that. You guys know that I'm an open book. I
You're
use
the
the first.
openest of
Thank
books,
you.
I feel like. Is that a word?
Is
Openness?
that a
Yes, we're
phrase?
gonna make it a word.
She's
Yeah.
the openest of.
Yes, yes. So, and I want to also just thank um, Jamie for joining us today. We're going to dedicate this day and this episode to her mom in memory of her mom. And she took off the day today to cry all day. And I am going to probably be the one that cries. But thank you for prioritizing what we're doing. This is important. It's not easy to share and be real and be vulnerable, but thank you for always being that.
Can I
So,
share what was mentioned last night when when we planned to get together this morning? And uh, I said we made a last minute plan to do this morning, and I said, seriously, guys, you're gonna make the day I took off to cry all day. You're gonna make me get up and get up early and get ready and look decent at 8 o'clock in the morning. You're doing this to me, seriously, guys?
That's the
yeah.
kind of friends we are.
Yes. Yes. And listen, this might
And I'm
sound
so
crazy. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and I'm so glad you did, because you've made me laugh already like 12 times today. And I would much rather start the day laughing with my two best friends than start the day crying like I intended. So thank you. I love you guys so much.
You know, one of my therapeutic things I used to do in my 20s, and I think it probably was kind of around that time of the month, but I just feel like sometimes things would just feel so
And I'm the
extra,
openest.
right? But I'm just being honest. So I would just feel so extra emotional that oh my gosh, if I just need to cry and just get it out. I kid you not. I've seen the movie Beaches about 35 times.
I love that
I
movie.
don't even have to follow it to the end, but most of the time I did. I would just put it. I had like 5 movies that are just super sad, instant criers. Put it in, just weep, sob. Okay, we're moving on. We got it. Like now we're done. So maybe you just need Beaches, James. Like just do.
Yeah. And this might sound crazy to some people, but so some of you know my dad died when I was 11, and maybe it's because I was 11, but I couldn't tell you the day that he died. I couldn't tell you a date, couldn't tell you a year. And the reason for that, and everybody's different, but for me, I don't want to have a day that I say, "Oh, today's the anniversary of my dad's death."
Mm.
I think about my dad all the time. And I want to be able to think about him just in a way that, I laugh and,
Mhm.
and just remember all of the crazy things about him. And so for me, it was never connecting a date, and maybe I purposely forgot the date. But anyway, so I know anniversaries, or I couldn't even tell you his birthday. I don't know if that makes me a weirdo, but I just like to think about him all the time. And I just feel like sometimes when we connect a date to something, we set ourselves up for, I'm going to cry this day.
I
And what I
know.
know for
Mhm.
sure is that my dad would have said, crying is for sissies. Don't do that.
Which is not a mark of you,
Right.
Jamie. Today. You-
Thanks.
Just to
Thanks,
And
make that
Coralyn.
clear.
that's not something, and for the record, that's not something I would say, but I'm just being real that that was my dad.
Yeah.
So that's not what this episode is about. This episode is about getting your second wind. And I just want to share an experience that I am going through right now. And in fact, an experience that I've been going through for, I think July will be 1 year. And that even sounds crazy, even saying it out of my mouth. So I'm very intentional. I try to be. And when I started my career all over again after 20 years, right? We know the story.
Mhm.
I had a 10-year plan, and I'm a planner. I like to write things down, and I have to get better at sometimes, in fact, in my life, most of the time, things don't go as planned. And one of the things that, I had planned was that I was gonna learn all of these different, automotive businesses so that when I get to a point of a higher executive role, that I can tell a story about how I understand the ecosystem of the automotive industry. And I knew then that that was a real ambitious goal because, um, this industry is not an easy industry to navigate through and to learn something brand new. And it really takes you about a year or two to even learn it. And then
Mhm.
when you learn it, to get up, pack up, go and learn something else. Um, and so I said, okay, how many times can I do that in 10 years? And that is going to be my story so that I can stand out. And so January of 2025, be careful what you ask for. I wanted to be done with the org that I was in. And so at that time, or during that 2 years, I wanted to identify what my next stop would be. And what I said is, I don't care what the business is at this junction of my career, I need to be under not just good, I need to be under great leadership. So leadership is more important than the business or anything else. So I went down the path of finding who are those leaders that I want to be under their mentorship and under their leadership. And I
Mhm.
identified two men in the company and just started building relationships around these people. And lo and behold, in January, a position which would have been a promotion for me opened up in that org. So I'm like, "Hey, I should go for it." So I started reaching out to people, and what I always recommend is, you may think that it's the best job for you, but you should get a second opinion before you just press the button and start in a competition that maybe you just don't have a shot at. So I started asking around, "Hey, what do you think about this role for me? What do you think?" And got all positive feedback, one for the role. And, just like all the other roles, I was very confident and didn't get the role. I'm like, "Oh, okay, damn, okay." And it stings, right? I like have uh, as a matter of fact, I mean, we've had episodes about this before, right? And it stings. Um, but then you get up and you say, okay, you know what? What's for me is going to be mine as long as I put in the work and all that good
Yep.
stuff that you tell yourself. And you get back up, you lick your wounds, you start all over.
Yep.
And I did that, and lo and behold, another role. And what's crazy about this is that this particular organization, people stay there for like 15, 20 years, like roles, especially at the higher levels, they just don't open up very often. And each time one opened up, it was like, oh, this is crazy. This role is opening up. This person's retiring. Oh, this person's. So another role opens up. And I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, I'm going for it. Go for it. And those of you that are in the corporate world, I don't know if in your space if it works this way, but in interviewing is not just interviewing. This is like round after round. This is preparation. This is building out business plans. This is talking. It's a lot.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm going to try to make this story as short as I can, but um, I go for the role again. Same org, same title, just different territory. And didn't get it. And I'm like, okay, wow, that stings again. And maybe it's because it's the same org or the same job, and I'm coming back each time, and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is it. This is my time. And maybe that, I don't know, but it stung a little more than the first time. And I'm like, okay. And maybe a month later, 2 months later, I don't even know at this point. Um, Another one comes up. Now, this time, in the midst of all of this, my role gets eliminated. So now I went for, okay, now this isn't just part of the plan. I'd like to grow my career. I'd like to be over there. Oh, now I
Yeah.
actually need a job. The mindset changes a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And on top of that, now the third time comes and it's not a promotion anymore. It's a um, more of a lateral move. Okay. That's okay with me. I've been there and I've done that. And I'm like, I want to be in this org. I want to be under this leadership. I'm going to go for it. Go for it. And I'm thinking to myself, and surely, a lot of times what we hear is sometimes you go in an org and you don't get it the first time. And the second time they're like, oh, wow, she really wants this and she's not giving up. I And the other crazy part about this is each and every time would require me to locate to a different part of the country. Again, that's a whole nother
That's
thing,
a yeah. That's a
right?
entire life
Mhm.
change for you
That
and your
you're
family and
preparing.
your
Yes. All of
Yeah.
that. Okay.
wrapping your brain around every aspect of your whole entire life changing. Yeah.
I didn't get it. Um, Fast forward to last Friday, another one. Same org, um, different territory, long process. And I had a Toastmasters conference that I was going to, and I said, "You know what? I don't wanna go to this conference." One, I gotta pay for it, I can't expense it anymore, but, I just rather be home because I'm gonna need to be somewhere where I can negotiate my pay, and
Hmm.
I wanna be able to, focus on that. And something told me, "No, take your butt to that conference," and I was winning an award and I facilitating talks, and there was a lot going on that I was kinda obligated to and that I wanted to be there, but I told myself, so I really struggled with that. The end of the day, I went, and I had just gotten there in the morning, and I get the call, and the hiring manager says, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm like, "Better now that you're on the other end." I said that shit. I'm like, I was confident.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. And I'm like, I need a conference room. Where's a conference room around here? Because I got my pen and paper out because we're gonna need to negotiate and I know what's gonna happen on this call. And I got my notes and I already knew
Yep.
what I was gonna say. And this is why I deserve this and all of that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And he says, I'm sorry. And I just my hearing went out there because obviously he's not sorry to offer me a job.
Right.
So whatever words he said off, I literally, like, my hearing stopped, and it picked up somewhere where he said, "Do you want me to give you feedback now, or do you want to?" And um, I think I flipped the table.
Physically or
It is,
mentally?
Yeah. Or both.
um,
Both. It
and
can all
just
happen.
for the audience, um, it's Thursday. Okay, so this is a week later. Um, so it's fresh in my head, but in my mind, I just flipped the table. And I said, because I want to make the point that this part is important. The feedback part is important. If you didn't get the job 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times, you have to get feedback. This is important. Because if you don't ask for feedback, it could hurt your brand. But I'm open to feedback. I want feedback. I want to grow. I want to learn. Let me just be clear. I absolutely do. And even when you know the feedback is absolute bullshit, there is
Let me have
something
it.
in that feedback that you can take with you that is going to help you be better. Simple as that. And so he said, do you want me to give you feedback now or would you rather get it later? I said, no, now is fine. Picked up the table, put the chairs back under it, and
Jessica.
and got my pen and paper, and he gave me the feedback. I took the notes, and I just left that call, and I was just devastated. I was like, I walked out of that room. I went to my car. I just bawled. I was just hurt, broken, angry, tired, frustrated, like all the things. And then I just began to pray for him, for his boss, for everybody that was involved in the hiring process. And I don't know why I did that, but that's where my heart went. And then I'm like, why are you doing that? That's stupid. Like, why are you doing this?
It's not.
But I'm just being honest here. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking, right? But I just kept doing it, and I sat there for probably a good 30 minutes, really just praying for him, praying for the person who he chose, which I had no idea uh, who it was for sure, but I just prayed. And then I had to get up and I had to walk back in there, eyes just swollen, and I had to get back to the conference.
Yeah.
I could have gotten in the car and drove home, but I had to get back to the conference because there were people that were expecting me to do things. The conference ended up being phenomenal, by the way. Like, talk about every person, every interaction, every workshop was exactly what I needed, and it really helped me prepare myself for what I felt Monday morning when I woke up at home in my own bed, and it really hit me. I don't have a job. Like, I not only do I not have a job, like, what have I done the last 8 years in this business? Like, not only have I built a brand, I've grown and developed myself, I've led successful teams, I've poured into people, I've done all the things. Like, how did I get here? How did I get here? And I probably took the most part of Monday just crying, just angry, just like all I don't even know that I left my room a couple times, had to pick up the kid, did all of those things. And then by Tuesday, I'm like, I'm back in the race. Oh, rewind. Let me go back. I was supposed to be completely kicked out of the system. Like, I don't know if you guys ever been laid off before, your role eliminated or whatever. Well, when you are out of the company, you are out of the company. Okay. Well, somewhere in between, I was not out of the company, I applied for another role. Now,
Just
this
keep
is where
throwing, just
this is
keep
where I'm
throwing
going
that
to
spaghetti
stop
at
and
the wall.
ask. I know I've been storytelling, but this is where I'm going to stop and just ask. You guys know this, right? I have to ask you to be open, honest, and direct. Same organization, okay? Because this company owns like 70 other companies, but this same organization is the job alert that I got in my email. Same role, different territory, but in sales instead of performance management. And I applied. What the heck were you guys thinking when I said that? Just give it to me.
I'm just like, throw it all out there. I mean, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, just keep throwing that spaghetti against the wall. Like, just keep throwing your
So
name
you're
out
saying you
there.
would have done the same thing?
Yeah, I would have. I mean, why not? What is it gonna hurt?
Yeah.
I mean, because at this point, I don't have a job. Like I
Right. You don't have
have
a
Right.
job anyway. Just keep trying. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst that can happen? They say no again.
It's too soon.
I love you.
Or what were you thinking?
Yeah, your tenacity and your willingness to just put yourself out there, and you said this, but I need to double say it. The amount of effort that we've talked about that you've put in to interview is literally beyond anything that I've ever done. And you've done it multiple times for multiple positions, and it is insane. And so go back to our episode on how to interview. All of those things are practice for what's to come. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel that whatever your next play is, whatever your next adventure is going to be really, really remarkable. So I'm holding out. I just want to see where you land.
Well, I had another friend that I was talking to, and she's like, I don't know if I would have done that. It's just, are you crazy? She's like, maybe, I don't know, maybe you might want to just be done with the company. They may not want you there, or they may have blacklisted you, or they may have. And I'm like, Jamie, I'm like, well, I got to interview somewhere, and I do
Mm-hmm.
have some things that I've been going after externally outside of the company, but why not? Why not?
And I
Like,
think
I mean,
I think with my thought is that whether or not what Jamie said is true, like why not? Like let's just see what happens. But in the interim, I don't know if where your next adventure is going to be at the same company or whatever it is. But again, I mean, let's just see and take this time during the time to not stress. You are going to land well. You are a
mm-hmm.
fantastic person, hire, effective, leader. You're going to land well.
and I believe that. Thank you. And speaking of stress, one of the workshops that I facilitated that I didn't even know, because this is where my mind was, I literally showed up there and had no clue what I was facilitating, what her talk was about, anything. And I felt so bad. Thankfully, I was able to just jump in and fake it till I make it. And everybody thought I was prepared. And her talk, which we'll be having on the next episode, was about stress management. And
Mm.
the example she used was sometimes there's things that are not even in our control. And we think we're doing all the best things that we can do to
Yeah.
manage our stress. And then next thing you know, something crazy happens, like your role gets eliminated, you're laid off, and you're like, this is my family, this is my livelihood. What am I gonna do? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting there in the front row looking at her like, yeah, that's real life. Mine right now today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was right in the room, right where I was supposed to be. And it
Yeah.
just made me feel and reminded me that I pride myself in. I don't buy into this, whoa, wherever God wants you or the universe, you'll get what belongs to you. It's not just that simple. And I want to be clear on that. It's not just that black and white. There is work for you to do. There is a fight for you to fight. And then what's yours is yours, and where you're supposed to be, you will. And there's also things that was not part of the plan, isn't supposed to happen. Maybe there's shitty people involved. Maybe something was meant to harm you, but then God used that same thing meant to harm you to bless you above what you were supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all of that. But I will tell you, and I'm sharing this because I know I'm not the only one. I know that I used to have a pastor that used to say, "Oh, you've never okay, keep on living. Just keep on living." Right. And there's so many people. If you're not in this space right now, and I hope that someone is, or maybe someone's getting ready to be, and this will help you because that's what we're here to do. And this is my life right now. And as painful as it is, I'm thankful that I'm being able to live it and to share it and to help you by saying, this is how I'm handling it. And all these voices in my head that you're not good enough, that bachelor's and that master's, all that work that you did means nothing because the other person that got the job didn't have any of that. And these people don't like you. And it's because you're a woman of color and all of those things that are going to those voices and
Mm-hmm.
all of their lies. Their lies, their lies, and their lies. And they're going to show up, and you got to be able to speak to the lies. And you can't just say they're lies. You have to replace them with the truth. And that
Yep.
is one of my biggest takeaways. And that is no, I worked hard for those degrees and they will pay off. They will pay off.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's not that they're better than me. I wish them well and hope that they do the best that they can do in their career in that role. And that was for you. And God has something better for me. And every
Yeah.
single lie that comes in my head, I have to speak to it in that moment and I have to replace it with the truth because I know who I am. I know what I've done. I know whose I am. And I know that I am destined for great things.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You know what I hear you saying, Jess, is that we have to, when these things happen, when we're looking for a second wind, we have to make sure that we can switch our strategy, but we can't change our dream.
Mm,
Your dream and where you're headed, your vision is true. We
yep.
might have to figure out a different path, a little workaround, figure out a different way to get there, but where you're headed is where you're headed,
Absolutely.
and not get sad, disappointed. We're still heading to where we're going.
Absolutely. And I shared this in a prayer group this morning. I said, at some point, and I hate that this was what popped in my head because I really do not like boxing. I don't like to watch boxing. It just bothers me. Um, but at some moment, I literally felt like I'm in the ring and I'm beat up. I'm bleeding. I'm, I'm beat up. My eyes are, you see that person and you're like, they're
Mm-hmm.
about to die. Why are they still fighting? At some point, that's what I felt. And that's the image I had in my head. And I'm laying there just bleeding to death. And I'm like, you got to get up. And that's when it hit me. That's when it hit me. This morning, I woke up. It's going to be a week. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start this interview process next week. I got to start building out my business plan. I got my second win. I got my second win. I got to keep fighting. This is what I do. I'm a fighter. So I got to get back up and start fighting again. So when you think about a second win, can you guys, it's not just about getting a job. That's just where I'm at right now. And there's
Mm-hmm.
other things, maybe for another show. I want to stay on topic that are also going on in the background because, it's not just this job. This is really the least of our worries in our family right now, but it's still there. And I still have to be in the fight, regardless of the other things that are happening. So
Mm-hmm.
when you think of a second wind, for me, it's about a job. For you guys, what is about? What or maybe you're not in that season and it was in the past. What's your second wind, and how did you get there?
What a loaded question, truly. I think I was just going to say, Jessica, I think anybody who listened to your first season of the podcast and listened to your life story, I feel like this is probably like your 12th wind. Just you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like, and knowing you for as long as I've known you, you've overcome so many obstacles. It's incredible, actually. And sometimes, and I don't want to lessen what you're going through right now, because I know that this is a huge thing, and you've been so strong through this whole thing. And honestly, every time that you've texted us or said, this happened, it's just like,
Guys,
girl,
you're my witnesses. You know I'm not
I
making this
know,
shit up.
I know. We've been with you through this whole thing. But I mean, some of the other stories that I've heard about your life, though, too, I'm just like, you've went through that, you survived that, you went through that, you survived that. Your strength is incredible. So there's no doubt, and I think Coralyn, same. There's like no doubt in either one of our minds or hearts that this is just one thing that you'll get through. We'll be here with you through it all. Whatever the next step is, and whatever the next part of your life, whatever your next job is going to be, is the right move. It's going to be the right thing for you. It's whatever is supposed to happen. You're going to be successful. There's no doubt. But I do feel like this is like your 12th win. Like you just, there's so many, you've had a lot of success stories too. And it's incredible. Your stories have been incredible, actually, what you've accomplished. But I think that's kind of the same with, I think the same when I think about the past. There have been a couple people I've met in my life where it's like, sometimes you talk about things that have happened in your past, and they'll say, I can't believe that happened to you. They'll meet us when we're professional women, and, we appear successful, and we've got this, we might look like our life is all put together. And then you let someone know, hey, well, this happened to me when I was in my early 20s, or this happened to me as a kid, or this is something I went through at this stage in my life, or whatever. And, it always reminds me of that phrase of, you never know the battles that people are going through. And so it always reflect with empathy. But as far as a second wind goes, I just remember there was a time when I was in a position with work and my personal life where I absolutely felt like I was going nowhere. It was like, I was pretty successful at my job, but it wasn't satisfying. I worked for someone who just literally made people cry every day, no respect. Personal life, just in a relationship that wasn't going anywhere, just wasn't real happy. Just, when you're in that point in your life where you're like, this isn't what I want my life to be like. When you think about it, nothing was majorly wrong. I wasn't getting beat up every day. I wasn't, not able to pay bills. It wasn't like these major things, but yet it was like a point where you're going, I don't want to live my life like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I want to be happier.
Yeah.
And fast forward a couple years, in a different relationship, in a different role. And I look back and I'm like, holy buckets, I am so glad I made a change. I'm so glad that I don't even remember the catalyst. But when you're in your late 40s and you look at a totally different industry, and a lot of people won't do that.
Yeah.
Most people will not make that change. Most people will go, you know what? It's okay. I'm just going to stay there. You know what? This person's nice. Everybody likes this person. You know what? My job's okay. I'm fine. It'll be okay. Everything's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Most people will just stay.
Yeah.
They'll just stay like status quo. It's fine.
Yeah. Because it's tough.
I don't think any of us us three are most people. Like we're just not satisfied with it's okay. For my story, like that was my second wind of like, I'm not okay. Like I want to be better. I want to be super happy and feel great every day. I'm so glad that happened. That started with a different relationship. It started with, honestly, a relationship really with myself, of me working on myself, going to therapy.
Yeah.
Working on my relationship with my family, working on my relationship with my mom, my kids, figuring out first, what do I need to, working on my relationship with God. Figuring out what do I need to do to make myself happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that in therapy was a huge part of it. That was definitely something I needed to do. But then too, taking that leap of faith of going, I've been in this industry and like you, Jessica, I was in the industry for 9 years, and it was like, do I really want to try something else? Like, am I going to be okay? Like trying a totally new industry?
And I did that 5 times in the last 8 years.
It's so scary. It's so scary.
And
Um,
it's a lot of work, but,
it
you
is.
know, I
Mhm.
guess, again, the question is for so many people, like, how do you find that second win? Like, you're in the midst
Yeah.
of this storm and you're just tired, and it's like you're just beat up, you're defeated, but you gotta keep going. Like, where do you where do you find the second win? How do you get it?
You know what? It's you. It's you guys. It's your tribe. Truly. I mean, that's it.
Sometimes you just have to borrow it, right? Like you
Mhm.
just maybe you don't
Yeah.
have the second wind internally. You have to lean on a mentor, a
Yeah.
therapist, a coach, a
Yep.
podcast.
Yeah.
Well, your girls too, your tribe,
A
you know?
podcast.
Yeah.
But that's it though. I think that we've talked about this a lot, but that's why it's so important to have a strong network of people that you're connected to that you can trust and be vulnerable with, and we can shine a light. Like maybe there's something that we can do together and just, hey, like this is it. But it's just we have to you have to be able to lean on other people.
Yeah.
I'm
It
glad you mentioned that because when I think back and, I've been doing a lot of journaling through this as well, and I think that has definitely helped me keep my sanity. You guys have been a big, big part of this. This podcast, being able, to share a lot of what I've been going through. It just hit me too yesterday. Damn, July will be a year. A year is a long time. A long time, not just to be interviewing, but to be rejected. And I say this with all humbleness, God knows, to be this freaking awesome and be rejected over and over and over again. And Hayden, it made me think of something last night. We were talking and he brought up the little girl in his class. And Will said, "Have you told her that you liked her?" And he was like, "No." And he's like, "Why not?" And he's like, and you know what he said right out of his mouth? He said it quick. "I don't want to be rejected." That's what he said. And the
There's
moment he
so
said
much truth in that.
the moment
So
he said that, oh my God, Will went like not off, but he was just like, he went on a whole sermon of rejection.
I love it.
And all I sat there and thought about this and I said, I'm gonna go back to him today and I'm going to share with him. You want to know about rejection? And he knows a little bit about, me not getting the job, over and over again. But I want to share with him how I work through the feeling of rejection. And the biggest takeaway was exactly what Will told him is I know who I am. And that's where it starts. I know how amazing I am. Again, I will humbly say that I am freaking awesome at everything that I do when it comes to work and leadership. My whole heart is in it. And every single job that I didn't get was their loss. Their loss. So it was
amen.
it just so back to what you were saying, you guys have been a big part of that. And the other lesson that I learned in all of this is I wouldn't have even been in any of those races that I was in if it wasn't for me asking for help. And that is something that
Mhm.
is new. I went through a 20-year career and yes, I had help and support, but I did it all. I had this mindset of asking for help was a form of weakness. And I don't need anyone. I don't want anyone's help. I don't want to owe anyone shit. And through this process, I've had wonderful leaders, wonderful mentors, wonderful sponsors. And even though I didn't get the job, and that'll be another show, I know that they're still my sponsors. I know that they're still my mentors. And I asked for help. And to this day, they are still with me and they are continuing to help me. And I'm very, very grateful that I did that. And that is one of the things that I think we should take away from this as well. I appreciate you guys letting me use the podcast as an outlet today to really share what I've gone through. And I think that this is going to be a good story after it's all said and done. And I just encourage our listeners that you just keep going. that you find your second wind, that you stay in the fight, and through it all, speak back to those voices and replace the lies with the truth, and never forget who you are and whose you are. That's all I got.
Amen.
Love it.
So, um, let's just get excited for our next episode where we're going to have the wonderful Dr. Beta. She's going to come and tell us all things about stress. So please, please, please make sure that you look for that you tune in. It's going to be a wonderful conversation. And just like I was in that front row and I was blessed and encouraged by her words and her expertise, you will be too. So we will continue to lead like a girl until then.